Hi, everybody. It's Big Ed Mustafa. Welcome to Adventures After Dark. I'm your host. I'm Big Ed Mustafa. I am delighted to be here. And tonight, I'm hitting the hard stuff. I've got me strawberry apple venom. Zero sugar, of course. And hopefully it's got the life-giving caffeine I need to plow through a quality stream tonight. So Wednesday, we got the gang together and we knocked out Garth the Garwin and went through the instances, and it went very, very well. I think I've got one quest to turn into Radagast. Maybe I don't. Let's check the quest ring. Stirrings in the Darkness. That's Tom Bombadil. Breland, Before the Shadow. Heirloom, Lone Lands. What do we have in the Lone Lands? Support our scouts. Oatmeal Problems. Shire, Special, Swanfleet. Teach a man to fish. Okay. Well, I must have talked to Radagast already. I'm going to go upstairs and make sure. As long as I'm here. Still working on my rich iron deposit slayer deed. That could be a thing, you don't know. Die, Warg Scum. And a gold deposit slayer. You know, I always forget something. I should probably go ahead and pop into my own Discord channel. There we go, just in case somebody comes by. SKDX Killer might want to give us another health update about his dog. You know, you never know. Don't think I need to kill any more orcs. I do have an enmity deed. I'll be able to kill plenty more orcs. Not too worried about that. Cannot fish because your inventory is full. You're probably going to switch those skills around, huh? Oh, that brings up a good point. If my inventory is too full to fish, then, you know, I'm clearly doing something wrong.
I'll try to help you if I can.
Hannah, I would like you to buy some junk. Let's see what we have to sell to Hannah. $678.99. The fundraiser is coming along smashingly well. We did pick up a couple more donations on Wednesday, and I am grateful for that. We got a fast fiver from Donnie's Secret Admirer, and then bless his soul, Forbin Kid kicked in some more cash. So if you're wondering who is contributing to my fundraiser to help the Omahawks help Make-A-Wish of Nebraska, all the cool kids are kicking in. And my thanks to those fine folks for their donations. We can sell that. That's not the sword I was going to equip. Where's the sword I was going to equip? That one clearly needs sold. Bloodhand's Doom. Oh, there it is. Clear down there. Fate and Vitality and Tactical Mitigation. We'll sell that. That's a pretty nice cloak. Goldberry's Hope. If I were Goldberry's Hope, there's where I would be. We have managed inventory. Let's see what the hobbits have for us. Greater crafting acceleration. I'm Still Young, named their bird Tweety. Oh, you know what? I'm already kindred. I don't need to turn in tasks with the Elglane. Should find someplace else. Hey DeGlane says moin. Moin to you, Hey DeGlane, and welcome. Dar's gold in them Dar hills. I suppose as long as I'm here, I should work on Slayer deeds. How many of these dang birds do I have left to kill? 37. 36. And wargs. I need 28. Alright, well these are both doable. I play on all of the free-to-play English-speaking servers. Tonight I happen to be on Gladden. I have a group of friends that I play on Gladden with regularly on Wednesday nights. We used to play on Evernight, and we capped out our characters on Evernight, and kind of got bored and decided to start again with some new low-level characters. But if we get some compelling content for level 140 plus, we can always go back to Evernight. I have done some delvings. They make me want to hurt myself. They are not fun. Mega Mayman says, sounds pretty fun. Hurting myself or playing on all the English-speaking servers? Maybe both. Depends on my mood. Although, as a rule of thumb, I'm normally not so bored that self-harming is appealing to me. Not hurting yourself. Well, good. Playing with friends is always a good way to play. And I stream a variety of games, but ironically or not ironically, it seems like whether I'm playing Rocket League or World of Warships or Apex Legends or Lotro, it's usually with Lotro friends. You know, we just gotten used to hanging out with each other, and we enjoy trying new games, and it's gotten to the point where I have a hard time streaming stuff that's not multiplayer. Burglar is so boring quest class. There are, well, let's be fair, Burglar is a fairly good melee class. And my first character was a champion. And one of the things I like about Burglar is it turns a lot of the content on its head. With a champion, you just sort of wade in and punch everything in the mouth. And with Burglar, you have to pick your fights more carefully and use crowd control. And I find it interesting. I like Burglar class. I like Burglar class a lot. And when you get your keystone skills, like coup de grace, that's fun. I enjoy that. And the burgling is fun. I enjoy picking the pockets. Normally you get a lot of mundane trash for loot, but every once in a while you'll pick up something very rare. And that's always exciting. I mean, it takes a long time due to the cooldowns and such. That's awesome, you got a core group of friends for gaming. I've met them by streaming Lotro. There are many benefits to playing and streaming Lotro, and I always encourage anybody who's out there, if you're even mildly interested in possibly streaming, do it. Roll the dice. Give it a shot. It takes a while to build up an audience, but The Lotro community is very supportive of Lotro streamers and Lotro players, and it's a nice way to dip your feet in. And a lot of people who watch Lotro do so while they're playing Lotro. They'll just fire up a stream and hang out in a channel while they're playing themselves, just as background noise or something to do. And they appreciate Lotro streamers, and it's a good way to build an audience and make friends. I joke that I appreciate streaming Lotro because y'all tell me stuff that I don't pay attention to, and clue me in on things I ought to know. It's like, what? Update 37's coming? There's going to be river hobbits? I mean, it takes a long time due to the long cooldowns and such. Okay, fair enough. It does require some patience. You're not wrong about that. Don't really need to kill any long tusks. I don't really need to finesse the crows anymore. I can just walk up and smack them in the mouth. And when I play a burglar, I like to play a weaponsmith, so I can create my own burglar throwing weapons and marbles and caltrops. They're like extra spells in your spell book if you were a casting character. I'm surprised more burglars don't use that stuff, but it's okay. It's your game, play it your way. And burglars have some cool war steed skills when they get to Rohan. One of my favorite things to do is you can use a skill that basically disguises you as an orc, and you can just ride right past enemies with very little to no chance of being detected. It's very handy. Ugarther says, yep, stealth mounted is awesome. Hi, Ugarther. How are you tonight? Ugarther is one of my friends who plays on Wednesdays. The skill dresses you up like a raggedy orc. Sir Waffles checking in. Hello, Sir Waffles. Happy Friday to you, my friend. Hey, DeGlane says, back when I played Warden, it was always so unsatisfying when you didn't finish your gambits. Your English is fine. That made perfect sense, and I know exactly what you mean. Tuatha Demeter, he says, I just bought Before the Shadow and I'm loving it. Yeah, it's great to have new starter content to go through. Have you played with the orgs? Good deal. I was looking for you fellas. Have you played with the landscape difficulty stuff at all? I have not, actually. Well, that makes two of us, Tuatha. If you're in chat and you've been playing with landscape difficulty, how are you liking the new feature? Are you the kind of person who pulls one of your spark plugs out of your car because you don't want driving to be such a lack of challenge? I don't know, it could be a thing. Garther says, new feature? I've been playing LD since Treebeard opened. Again, free to play, Garther. I have not been on any of the legendary servers. It's new for some of us. Oh, another Treebeard player. Just saying, I like it and have for a while. Good. Glane says, I played in the 75s and took a 3 or 4 month break and now I started again a week ago. A guy 36 says, what class is this? I'm playing burglar, but I'm solo landscape, so I'm not doing a lot of burgling. I'm mostly just straight up meleeing at this point. Let's do something fun. Let's see. I can sneak up on an orc and pick his pockets. At this point, I'm just trying to clean up some Slayer deeds. I'm basically done with the Lone Lands. Alright. There's a poor unsuspecting orc. Now I had to use my burglar's antidote because you can't be taking bleed damage if you're sneaking up on somebody. So we go into stealth mode. We distract to cause him to freeze and look the opposite direction. We sneak up behind him, pick his pocket. I failed to burgle, so we hit aim, backstab, boom, insta-kill. Fear the Berg. And there's another poor unsuspecting Tarkrip. We go into stealth. We distract. We get close, pick his pocket. Failed to burgle. Now aim is still on cooldown, so I'm just going to straight up backstab. And I still managed to one-hit kill. So that's okay. So if the orc is relatively stationary, you don't have to distract. You can just sneak up and pick his pocket. I failed to burgle. Wonder if it's because my bags are full. Nope, I got room to burgle. I'm just not getting it done for some reason. It's 3 fails in a row. Alright, Kraban Slayer Advanced is done. You're pretty close on wargs too. Looks like I need 10 wargs. There's a different message if your bags are full. Yeah, it'll usually tell you. I just thought I'd check anyway. And if you're wondering why I keep throwing Addle for no particular reason, there is actually a class trait deed associated with addling. Takes 1,000 addles. Singer says a bit tougher to burgle from a loincloth, but more gratifying if you're successful, Singer. Alright, one of these orcs has got to have something for me to loot. We just circle around behind him. Get within pickpocket range. Failed to burgle. Burgling is also a class deed. And often horrifying. Probably still need to kill a couple of spiders. If you haven't played Burglar or Guardian in a while, they've punched up both of the classes. They're much easier to level up early on than they used to be. There we go, I burgled some leather gloves. They're probably no good, but let's take a look at them. Yeah, they're just ordinary leather gloves. Oh, I have to kill 60 more spiders. Okay, that makes me sad. Failed to burgle. Singer, would you fellowship with me with a hunter so I can just put you on follow and you can run around and kill spiders? That way I can go like watch TV or take a nap or something. Arthur says, and Guardian is getting a rework in U37, but the response seems to be mostly positive. Yeah, Guardian's a vastly underappreciated class. I think they're good fighters. And for some reason, I'm the only person I know who likes sword and board. I like the shield bash skill chain. I just think it adds a nice little bit of variety to combat. I don't think I'm going to try to finish spiders tonight. 60 is a lot of spiders to kill. And I know where to go find them, but that doesn't mean it would be any fun. And there's Warg Slayer Advanced. And if you're free to play like I am, you want to complete those deeds because you need the Lotro points. John Goodman would help take out those spiders. He would be a valuable ally, just like he was in Rage. I have the travel point. I'll come back and jack with spiders some other time. If I stay and fight 55 more spiders, it'll just take away my will to live. One of these days I'll have to play Rage 2 and see if John Goodman actually makes an appearance in the sequel. Very much enjoyed the first game, and I think I was the only person on Earth who did. Singer, how is your week going? Just like your inventory sometimes takes our will to live. Yeah, you're not wrong. So let's take a look at the deed log. Burglarize. Wow, I got a lot of burglarizing to do. Holy crap. I've only burglarized 35 times out of 250? That seems low. I thought I did more burgling. Hidden dagger. Finished what you started. Use critical hit chain finishing series. Okay. Footpad. Use your diversion skilled successfully. That'll take care of itself. Hidden dagger. Use your special stealth attacks. Okay. Leaf walker. Use your sneak skills. Mass confusion. Use addle against an ally, or against an enemy rather. So, okay, it's not 1,000, it's 600, and I'm a little under halfway done. I've got 257 addles done. No time for games. Use provoke or trick removal skills. That's yellow line. I've done it twice. Yellow line burglar is really interesting. Use reveal weakness. 225 out of 350. That's that skill. It puts a 4% debuff. Or no, it does a plus 3% buff to damage. Minus finesse, minus critical defense, minus resistance. Just makes your target more vulnerable. It's a happy thing. I throw that a lot, and that's pretty close to being finished. You get Lotro points for completing this stuff. Perplexing riddle. Pose riddle to your enemies. 53 of 200. Quick rest. This is a yellow line trick. Parry enemy attacks. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Sidestep is quite handy. 774 of 1250. Evade enemy attacks. I think that's automatic. Strike from the shadows. 71 of 400. Land critical blows. So you can't just attack from stealth. You need to actually crit from stealth. And that's just random luck. Use tricks. 22 of 1,000. That's going to take a while. Promo points and promo points. That's pretty nice. There's no reward for getting those promo points from epic battles. Tanks for nuttin'. Alright, so let's see what we have left. Bog lurkers, goblins, spiders. And I just need to go find the Lorn Span, and that should knock out a couple of metas. So let's go to the Lorn Span. I'm fine, and you, Mrs. M, doing well, I hope? Yeah, Mrs. M is doing pretty well, although I got home and fed her lunch, and she started bugging me about dinner, so I went out to the kitchen and cooked. And I made, well, for lack of a better term, mackerel patties. I made fish cakes out of canned mackerel with some onion, carrot, and celery, and some breadcrumb and some egg, and a little bit of garlic and herbs and some salt and pepper, and just pan fried them real quick, like you would a salmon patty, but with mackerel.
Looking for Big Ed Mustafa?
I'm Big Ed Mustafa. And then I made some green beans in garlic butter and some Spanish rice. Just nothing too fancy. It was from a Nora package. Pretty much, boil water, heat, and serve. But I thought everything turned out pretty good. And yeah, just about 5 minutes after she started eating her dinner, she was watching YouTube and not paying attention and dumped her whole plate in the middle of the living room floor. So I got to go clean that up. That was exciting. She says it was not a critique on dinner, that she liked the food. Forbin Kid checking in. Hello, Forbin Kid. Welcome, my friend. We ride for the Lorn span and for glory. Defenses of the Lonelands complete. Explorer of the Lonelands complete. But I still have 3 Slayer deeds left, and none of them are particularly fun. Although I wouldn't think I've got that many goblins left to kill. I might be able to knock that out fairly quickly. Adoranel checking in. Hello, Adoranel. You can catch Adoranel here on Twitch. You can also catch Adoranel playing and streaming live on YouTube. Oh, I only need 19 goblins. Let's knock that out right now. Die, villainous scum. He doesn't count. If you're going to work on class deeds, you don't want to do them to anything grayed out. Oh, this White Hand Ridge Fighter's grayed out. I wanted to target the other one. Oh well. I burgled the silver ring. So the gray mobs still count towards the Slayer deed, but not for the class deed stuff. I failed to burgle. One shot, one kill. Put those goblins out of joblins, exactly. Adoranel, you are always appreciated yourself. I'm always delighted to have you and Lord Bobulus popping in and hanging out. I failed to burgle. Failed to burgle. The good news is, I think, even if you fail to burgle, it still counts towards the class deed. Or I'm wrong, one of the two. There, I burgled some scale mail leggings. Pretty sure those are going to be heavy armor, so I can't wear them. They're worth 3 silver pieces at a vendor, so totally worth the effort. That silver ring is just a silver ring. Alright, so we're getting some burgling done. killed him so fast he wasn't able to break his fire pot. Failed to burgle. You're going to want to keep the statless ring for when they add legendary equipment. Failed to burgle. The penalty for not having anything for me to burgle is death. I successfully burgled dwarf padded leggings of determination. Plus 27 will, plus 12 or 19 vitality. Those would be pretty nice for somebody who's a caster. Oh, my stealth broke because I'm still bleeding. And there's Goblin Slayer advanced. So So I'll do with just spiders and bog lurkers. We visited the Lone Span. You're a caster. You're streaming on the official right now, actually. I am? That's fantastic. I must be super important or something. Just glad to be here. Although, once again, shout out and much love to everybody who's watching the stream replays on YouTube. I had almost 600 views from last week. That's just crazy. Thanks, everybody. I don't know if you're using the streams as a sleep aid, you're super bored at school, you're in a minimum security prison facility and they let you watch YouTube. I thank you. I'm just glad that people are finding reasons to go back and watch the replays on the Lotro channel on YouTube, and folks seem to like them. So thanks. I meant spellcaster, Zinger, but thank you. What's that? Spiders, bog lurkers. Bog lurkers, I need 20. That doesn't sound like a lot until you have to go find 20 bog lurkers. Spiders, I need about 50. That's actually a little more doable. It's tedious, but it's doable. Means of torture in countries with less strict human decency laws. Well, that wasn't where I wanted to turn at all. I was looking for the housing area. I saw this farm, but I thought this was the turnoff. I was mistaken. Speaking of means of torture, I would like everybody to stop contributing to the fundraiser for Make-A-Wish. If we hit $1,000, I have to unlock Mad Maggie in Apex Legends and play and stream as Mad Maggie. I hate her. I don't want to have to do that. So thank you in advance for not contributing any more money. I very much appreciate that. Airshow prep goes good. So whatever you do, I don't want anybody to go to that link and contribute any more money. Because if we get to $1,000, I will have to play and stream as Mad Maggie. And I hate her, hate her, hate her. As it is, I already have to play and stream World of Warships, sailing nothing but the USS Omaha. which is not going to be a fun experience. It's kind of a miserable ship. It's got lots of fast-firing guns, but it's basically made of glass and is easily sunk. But in all earnest, I will probably be working hard on the air show this weekend. So my part of it's, I just have to do some final packaging, and then some of the stuff I'm going to do is just because I want to change things up a bit. I'm going to pull some new music in, maybe mix up the segments a little bit. Some of my star pilots aren't available. One of the guys I featured the last few years, who's factory sponsored by one of the big radio outfits, retired and moved to Arkansas. So it's like, oh, yeah, I guess Gabe's not going to be coming back from Arkansas to do the air show this year. Just get him to $1,500 so Mrs. M has to play Mad Maggie. That would be awesome. I would love to actually see Mrs. M play. Man, who did that? Stop that. Mr. Kristoff! You better not have. Dude! Wow. Oh, man. Okay, first of all, thank you very much. It's for a terrific cause. I appreciate it. And secondly, now I have to play Mad Maggie. So you're officially on my list. When you get to the air show on Labor Day, I'm going to tell everybody that you're going to call Scott Mulk's control line routine for him, and you're going to have to get on the microphone and repeat whatever Scott tells you to say. That's going to be your punishment for unlocking Mad Maggie. Okay, so the next goal, if I can get to $1,500, Mrs. Mustafa will play and stream on my channel. If we get to $2,000, I haven't talked to Alapenya about it. I'm sure I can talk Nick into it. But I will play and stream Overwatch 2 with All Up and SKDX Killer. And yeah, I have no interest in Overwatch. But Mr. Kristoff's been extremely generous. He was at the air show last year. He is a fellow RC pilot, a longtime member of the Omahawks RC Club. He knows the work that goes into the air show, and he's intimately familiar with all of the good that we do, and what just a terrific community outreach it is to Omahans in general. It's a fun day in the park for families. We'll get 12, 14, 1,600 people come through the park over the course of the day. The air show's free. They can come out to the park, enjoy the day, watch the air show. There's no charge for parking. There's no charge for entry. If they want to buy concessions, if they want to buy raffle tickets, if they just want to throw some cash in the donation jar that we're passing around, it's all voluntary. But through everybody's generosity, we were able to raise over $10,000 for Make-A-Wish last year. The donation money that we collected last year, $500, we were able to buy all of the raffle prizes for the event, and then turn around and sell over $1,500 worth of tickets for those prizes, basically tripling the donation money in what we were able to give to Make-A-Wish. I think the net number was like $1,563 in raffle ticket sales. So it's a tremendous effort from you guys. I very much appreciate it. Mr. Kristoff's done way more than his fair share of heavy lifting on this year. I'm extremely grateful to him, but I'm extremely grateful to everybody else who's contributed. Y'all know who you are, and I thank you for that. And every nickel will go towards benefiting Make-A-Wish of Nebraska. We'll funnel it through the air show, make sure the raffle prizes are taken care of, and any excess money I'll use to pay off the pop, the chips, the stuff that wasn't donated concessions-wise, so that we can maximize the club's contribution to Make-A-Wish. And if we get all the food paid for, we get all the raffle prizes paid for, then the money just goes straight to Make-A-Wish. Nothing wrong with that either. But I very much appreciate the generosity. And yeah, I don't want to have to try to explain to Mrs. M how to play and stream while she's sitting at my computer. So let's quit donating money, please. I don't want to get to $1,500 either. So, or 2,000. Mad Maggie. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely on my list, Mr. Kristoff. Hopefully you can talk Antler into coming so everyone can sing happy birthday over the mic. We'll try to see if we can visit the show. Things are crazy as we move, but if we can make it, we shall. That would be awesome. And I forget where Mrs. M said we're going for dinner afterwards, but yeah, I'd love to sit down and chat with you and Lord Bobulus if you're in town. And Mrs. M and I have met friends I've met on Twitch, and we've gone out and broke bread and gotten a chance to talk face to face. And it's always been a good time. Donnie checking in. Donnie, welcome back. Are you back from Maine, buddy? Let's do task item turn-ins. Yes, I am. Awesome. We'll look forward to hanging out with you this weekend. So I'm done with Bree Rep. I'm done with the Eglain. Let's see if we can work on Thorin's Hall. Remember, task item turn-ins benefit you a number of different ways. You get experience points, item experience points, war steed experience points, reputation points. You can earn Lotro points from completing task item turn-in challenges. You earn cosmetics, you earn titles, and it helps get crap out of your bags. There's no reason to not do task item turn-ins every day. They're good and good for you. Also, for those of you who are curious, Mr. Kristoff used to be a fairly dedicated Lotro player. Him and his dad used to play. The Questing Dad checking in. Hello, the Questing Dad. I am delighted to see you, sir. Questing Dad's been kind enough to raid me a couple of times. It is my delight to shout him out, so if you're not already following the Questing Dad, go check out his Lotro streams. We love to support our fellow Lotro streamers. It is my goal one day to be the worst and least known Lotro streamer on Twitch. I'm well on my way, don't get me wrong. But the more Lotro streamers we have, the more people we've got representing the game on Twitch, the better. And there's lots of great folks out there to hang out with and watch and play with, and make sure you're showing them some support too. What's that? 5K and you'll cosplay as your favorite Apex character and also perform Call Me Maggie? You know what? For $5 grand, Zinger? Yeah, I would. Aurora Ember checking in. Hello, Aurora. Welcome. And Aurora was responsible for making me go back and play and stream Apex last year. I was $30 short, and I think it was literally the last day I was raising funds, and I was at $470, and Aurora donated the last $30 that made me had to go back and start playing Apex Legends again. I had quit for almost a year because of Mad Maggie, because I hate her so much. Hey, Questing Dad, thank you. We appreciate you streaming and playing Lotro and representing on Twitch. I mean, at this point in the game's life, we're basically the marketing department. And it's a terrific game. It's a terrific development studio, and Standing Stone deserves our support. And some folks pay with cash money, and some folks pay by promoting the game, and a lot of folks do both. It's all good. But thank you for doing your part to keep the game alive and thriving. And I also have to say thank you to the community. I did the Second Life fundraiser, or what is it, Extra Life fundraiser. I joined the Standing Stone fundraising team and hit goal during that too, just because you guys are very giving, you're generous, and you like to do good. It's very much appreciated. So we're getting closer to friends with Thorin's Hall. We're creeping up on that pretty close. You hit 1K? Grats. I was waiting to see how close you got. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Christoph. Yeah, for those of you who just missed it, this just happened. Did I not hit it? Yeah, you got me again. You weren't waiting until the last minute, Aurora. I saw your Twitter posts. You were jet skiing in Florida. Hope you had a great time, too. That sounds like a fun trip.
How can I be of service?
Hey, I have till the end of the month. You absolutely do have till the end of the month. And I appreciate everybody's support, big and small. How do I not have adamant shards? Alright, well, let's do this. Since I am the weaponsmith, I'll put my whetstones over in my personal vault. That'll free up 3 vault spaces for adamant shards. Resin, yellow rock salt. Good, good, good. Donnie says, good night, I got you tomorrow night at Ed. All right, Donnie. Get some rest, buddy. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Singer says, this is when Ed finds out that he actually really likes Maggie's abilities and then becomes a Mad Maggie main. Well, you never know. Mr. Christoph says, well, there's plenty of thunder left, Aurora. I didn't take it all. Boris says, I did have a good time in Florida until I got heat stroke and second-degree sunburn on my legs. Ouch. Oh, the wish thing isn't set up here, Donnie. I had to cut and paste the link manually. So whatever you do, don't add any more money to the pot. You guys are just getting me deeper and deeper in trouble. I have to play as Mad Maggie. I have to sail the Omaha. The last thing anybody wants is Mrs. Mustafa doing a Lotro stream on my personal channel and talking about how much she hates Tolkien and how she thinks all of this is dumb. It would just be embarrassing. And she'll probably tell you horrible stories about me. So do not contribute to the fundraiser anymore. Especially Mr. Kristoff. Donnie says, good night. I didn't mean to do that. Good night, bud. Good night, Donnie. You didn't do anything wrong, buddy. Have a good one. Donnie and his family drove all the way from Florida to Maine for his dad's high school reunion and then drove back. I think Donnie is worn out from long car rides. Probably happy to be home sleeping in his own bed again. Alright, I know nobody will believe it, but voila, pack space. How do I still have overflow loot? Dang it.
How may I help you today?
Okay. Quick tip, if you're selling stuff and you're not very organized with your bags, as I am not, what you want to do is go to a vendor and go to the sell tab first. And that way, all of your loot that you pull out will be at the bottom of the list, so you can find the stuff that you just grabbed and sort through it more quickly, like jagged beaks, don't care. Tough carapaces, coarse fur, ruffled feathers, more sturdy hides, sapphires. A javelin I don't need, a broadsword I don't need, an expert tailor scroll. See, some of this stuff can go back in my vault too.
How can I be of service?
Gotta clean out your inventory, boys and girls. So, more hides, another tailor scroll, more elephant carvings. And voila, pack space. I don't know how many Lotro points I've gotten so far tonight, but it's a bunch. So you gotta clean out your deed log. Try to get them all done. Virtue cap reached. So I think I was working on determination. That is maxed out again. We'll work on zeal for no good reason. Mega Mayman says, enjoyed the stream. I'm heading out as well. Have a good one, Mega Mayman. Thanks for coming by. You know what? Let's knock out spiders and bog lurkers. I'm going to grab another beverage. I'll be right back, y'all. Cheers, stream. Hi. No, that wasn't a gunshot. That was me opening a second can of Venom. Since Coke Zero hasn't come through with any sponsorship money, Venom. It's a delicious Dr. Pepper 7-Up product. It's as cheap as 99 cents a can for a full-on energy drink, only 10 calories, and it's loaded with vitamins and, more importantly, loaded with caffeine. And unlike most energy drinks, it actually tastes good too. No, Dino is missing vital sustenance. Lord Bob checking in. Hello, Lord Bobulus. Venom. It's what you drink when your favorite drink doesn't sponsor you. Exactly. Although I have plenty of good cold Coke Zero in the fridge too, but it's been a long week. One of the things I did yesterday I'm not too proud of was I forgot to set the alarm, and we woke up an hour late, and I got Mrs. M to dialysis about a half hour late. Not a huge deal. They got her in and got her dialyzed and everything was fine, but, it's just, life-giving medical care that my wife desperately needs that I just, forgot to set the alarm. So we got up at 5:30 yesterday morning, and I was able to leave work just before midnight last night. Verizon came in to try to finish doing some work on something in our building that they tried to do a couple weeks ago and had to back out of. And then they found out that one of their routers in their equipment cabinet was bad, and instead of finishing the update, they just swapped out the router, and now we're in a change freeze from now until May 10th. So, yeah, nobody's touching any of our network infrastructure until after the 10th of May. Which means that now they have to wait and come back on Monday the 11th to finish the updates. So I had a really long day yesterday, and that's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it. I'll sleep when I'm dead. But I'm hitting the caffeine pretty hard tonight, so we'll see how it goes. If I start talking about having visions of Jim Morrison telling me to host a Waynestock here in Omaha, just, let me sleep it off. Don't take it too seriously. Let's go get spiders, and then we'll go get the bog lurkers. Spiders should be easy. I'm sorry, 10th of September. I did that all day today. They were like, when are we going to be able to come out and do this? And I was like, you can come back August 14th or 17th. And they're like, are those dates for 2024? No, I'm sorry. I meant, I just kept screwing up the dates, and I forgot to flip my... I've just been goofy all day from lack of sleep. And my boss was on the email chain, going back and forth with the telecom group and Verizon. And I had a one-on-one call with him today, and we were laughing about it. It's like, yeah, if everybody thinks I'm a little bit goofy, they're probably right, so it's okay. But I basically said, sorry, your tech kept me up past my bedtime and I haven't had enough caffeine. Our company stores all emails for 7 years for record keeping, so that is part of the record. On this day in 2023, Ed did not have enough caffeine. I stand by that statement. Didn't drink a pop all morning, and when I went to lunch, I just had a couple glasses of iced tea, which was refreshing and delicious. They say there's caffeine in iced tea. I don't get the same pick-me-up from iced tea that I do from soda. Maybe the bubbles help, I don't know. Went to a great little restaurant for lunch today. There's a little place by the Westroads Mall here in town called Sebastian's Southern Crab, and they do seafood boils. Think of like Joe's Crab Shack, but with good food. And my work buddy Vic and I both got the Sebastian sampler, which was shrimp and sausage gumbo, shrimp and grits, cheesy grits, and then we both got chicken wings as our third sampler choice. And food was terrific. And the restaurant's African American owned, and they're always playing cool R&B music in there. And I just kind of like the restaurant's got a nice laid back vibe. Great meal. Not gonna lie, it was better than the fish cakes I made for dinner, but when I got home, Mrs. M wanted to eat, and I was like, I'm just gonna cook some stuff we've got laying around the house. I like cooking with canned mackerel because it's weird, and I can do stuff with it. You can make mackerel salad like you'd make tuna salad, and just make sandwiches with it. I've made mackerel soup. I've made mackerel melts like tuna melt sandwiches. The mackerel patties that we had for dinner tonight actually fry up pretty good. I've offered to make her kimchi fried rice, and I know you can make kimchi fried rice with canned tuna. I figured it'd probably be better with canned mackerel because the mackerel's going to be oilier. And the magic happens when the kimchi hits the oil from the fish and heats up, and it's supposed to just sort of take everything to a whole new level of Flavor Town. And Mrs. M just hasn't wanted me to make kimchi fried rice, so it's like, okay. I did make her steamed rice and kimchi a couple times this week. And there's a salted dried seaweed. Think like sushi wrapper, but toasted with salt. And she calls it keem. And she wanted rice and kimchi and keem. And then she complained because the steam and heat from the rice wilted the keem. And I'm like, I'm sorry, honey. I thought you'd want hot rice. And she's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, I know. But, so the second time I made it for her, I just gave her the keem on the side in a little plastic dish so it wouldn't get wilted by the rice. And again, with these spiders mostly conning green, I don't really have to finesse anything here. I can just run up and punch them in the face and burn them down. Like, why is that music playing? Oh, a spider's chasing me. I should murder it. And what was the other thing I was surprised about? I bought some cereal at the neighborhood Walmart grocery store. It's Great Value brand cinnamon donut flavored cereal. And I had a bowl when I first opened the box, and I thought it was just super yummy. And I thought, oh, she's going to love this because she's really into cinnamon lately. And she's like, oh, I didn't think it was that good. Which is kind of funny because she wiped out the bowl that I gave her. But it's like, okay, I'll give you the Cheerios and I'll eat all of it. So that'll work out for me. She just gets in these moods sometimes where she hates everything. So I don't take it too seriously if she complains about food. I'd much rather she just complain about it than throw it on the floor like she did tonight accidentally. Nothing like spending, 30, 40 minutes out in the kitchen preparing dinner and watching her drop her plate. It's like, oh man. So I did the cooking, did all the dishes, and then got to clean up the living room where she spilled her food. But that was all after I went out and fixed her a new plate. Fortunately, I held back some of the rice and green beans. Her fish cakes didn't fall on the floor, but the rest of her food did. What is the cereal? Lord Bob wishes to know. Walmart neighborhood grocery store has it. It's great value cinnamon donut cereal. It's pretty generic. It's really cinnamony, and after you're done eating it, it leaves like this heavy dose of cinnamon milk in the bowl. That was always the best part when you were a kid, was finishing your cereal and then drinking the milk after whatever you were eating flavored the milk. Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles were famous for that, but lots of cereals do it. Sounds like dinner with a toddler. Yeah. In more ways than I care to articulate, Mrs. M is like having a big toddler in the house. A big, fussy toddler who seems to resent me sitting down and relaxing for even 5 minutes. It's like the sound of my chair creaking as I sit down in it, or the sound of me popping open a soda, makes her suddenly need to demand something immediately. Yeah, that's marriage. Oh, you're not wrong. But I always give her a Benadryl and 5 milligrams of melatonin with her evening medication, so she's crashed out on the couch right now, and I can finally play in peace. Mr. Kristoff says, could be worse. She could be stuck playing Mad Matt. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's a little too soon for that joke, Mr. Kristoff. Fortunately for you, I am on Lotro Stream, so I'm required to keep it classy. Don't encourage him. Bad, Rora. Bad Adoranel. Don't be laughing at that. Unless you guys were around watching me play Apex in Season 8, it may be difficult to fathom how seriously pissed off I was at Mad Maggie. It just was so obnoxiously over the top. It ruined Season 8. Her voice lines were horrible. Her takeover event was terrible. And the idea that they brought her back was just repulsive. I quit playing for almost a year. If Aurora hadn't come up with that $30 last year, I still might not be playing Apex. Spider Slayer done. We ride for Agumar. Adornell has only heard the stories. Ed, you know it was going to happen one way or another. Yeah, probably. I suppose if there were more lockdowns. I started playing Apex after the pandemic started, when nobody was going out anywhere. Fortunately, I live in the great state of Nebraska, where we never were locked down. The worst they ever did was a masking mandate. That was annoying enough. It's like, how about I'm a grown-ass man, and if I want to wear a mask, I will. In Asia, sick people wear masks to prevent spreading germs, which is perfectly reasonable. And I'm not opposed to wearing masks, but the idea that everybody should be forced to wear masks, it was just silly. To quote the movie V, people should not fear their governments. Government should fear their people. I'm not an anarchist. I'm not a militia dude. But, yeah, if my government doesn't have a good, healthy fear of how I'm going to react to something, then they need to think again. Not a gun owner, not making any threats, but they forget who they work for. Now, there's generally more bog lurkers in the back than there are up front here, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't at least take a pass through here. The problem is I think the respawn is slower out here. So even if you find a few, it's going to take a while for them to come back. Let's go lurk on the bog lurkers. Turning the undead into the just plain dead. Circle of Blood, by the way, great fishing area. In fact, as long as we're here. Let's get the best part of the stream underway. This is what Cannableck likes to tune in and watch so he can get to sleep more quickly. If you're not fishing Middle Earth, you're not exploring Middle Earth. Always have a fishing pole with you. Always fish. You never know when you might actually have a few thousand fish saved and they'll suddenly become valuable as gold. It's actually the price of seafood these days. It's pretty much true here too. For as landlocked as Omaha, Nebraska is, we actually have some pretty terrific seafood options. There's an outfit called Absolutely Fresh that flies in seafood, And we've got some great sushi restaurants. There's there's 3 or 4 Cajun and Creole restaurants that have some really good seafood options. Oh, and then while we're on the subject of stupid, yeah, if you get aggroed while you're fishing, you can't switch. You can't draw a weapon, you just have to run. Because, why should you be able to draw a sword? They broke off the attack, so I was able to switch out, but that's just annoying. Anything that interrupts fishing is wrong. In fact, I don't care if it's a Balrog. A Balrog should see an adventurer fishing and be like, I should eat him, but he's fishing, so I'm going to leave him alone. Fishing is sacred. We'll go this way. Illegal, don't disturb the fishing. Exactly. That was a byproduct of them disabling weapon swapping in combat, which got out of control with the min-maxers. I know. I know what it's from. I'm familiar with the stance dancers and the buff stickers, and if that's how they want to play the game, let them play the game that way. I don't care. I mean, it's stupid to punish the vast majority of the player base that doesn't do that. Like, oh, we got to put in this one thing because some players are doing this, and it's annoying. I have seen in MMOs where the problem is they start worrying about the min-maxers and the guys that are just pushing the envelope to the point where they eventually force everybody to have to do it because the content creep gets so difficult. It's like, if you're not doing it, you're not going to be able to play. I don't want to name Asheron's Call in particular, but that was one of the problems with that game, was it all became about dealing with the mini-maxers and the guys that were at the bleeding edge of the game meta, and we've got to just expect everybody to be doing that, and so let's design the content around those guys. And it's like, I don't play that way. You don't need to make the content to accommodate those people. There's other players who don't do this, and it was like, nah, we're just going to assume everybody's doing it this way. So then you had to do it that way. And then the other thing that worries me is towards the end with Asheron's Call. I remember going back and playing the game near the server shutdown period when they finally end-of-lifed it. And they made some bizarre choices where it was like, well, what else can we do to keep the players entertained? And they just kept adding new playable races to the game. I mean, they had monster classes like the Tumoroks and the Olthoi that you could play as. It was like, these shouldn't be playable. That's antithetical to the whole plot of the game. And it was just weird, and it was like, okay, well, we're out of ideas, so let's just keep adding new playable races. It's like, okay. And so far, I'm fairly much a fan of them adding, Brawler's fine, Bjorning's fine, High Elf, Stout Axe Dwarf, River Hobbits are coming. I mean, they haven't jumped the shark yet, but, at some point, that's not going to pass for innovation anymore. It's like, oh, there's another race that I can play as a guardian that's like not going to thrill anybody. Bacchus checking in. Hi, Bacchus. They were told about the fishing pole thing during the bull roar, but they didn't bother doing anything about it. That's because nobody fishes, Egarther. Questing Dad says it only takes a small group to ruin a good thing in a lot of games. Yes. Adornell says, yes, I'm hoping they'll do other things and not just more and more races. I found in AC the bug that if you bought greater than 32,767 worth of Pyreal Scarabs, it wrapped around to 1. Bacchus says there's also a hard cap on what can be introduced, really. The lore is very well established. That's why we have Ed, to scare the bad people away. Exactly. I will make fun of them until they cry, and then they can go play another MMO. Yeah, we're getting close. Bloody Rain says, I think I'm finally one step away from playing Lotro on Steam Deck. Wow. After literally weeks of asking on forums, I'm finally getting some answers. Cool. If you can actually get it mapped onto the controllers, that would be impressive. I play and stream on Linux. I'm on Mint Linux 20.2 with Cinnamon Desktop right now. Game is very Linux friendly. I mean, yeah, if you want to run it on a Steam Deck, as long as you got a keyboard and mouse plugged in, you shouldn't have any problems at all. But to play it portably without a keyboard and mouse, that would be tricky. The main thing I would want Lotro to do is to work on the animations. Some of them feel a bit too choppy, best way to describe it. I know they have a lot of things they want to do, but I mean, they're so resource limited. There we go. Loglurker Slayer Advanced complete. Slayer of the Lonelands complete. What else you got for me? Deeds of the Lonelands complete. So if we check our quest log and we go to the Lonelands, not completed, nothing. It's all done. And we got some more Lotro points. Hooray! Happy that there's a lot less lag. I know they were working on that. Breland is wiped, Arid Lewin is wiped, Lonelands is wiped. I guess I have more of the Shire completed than I thought. I guess I got the Slayer stuff done. Farms are done. Explorer's done. Sights of the Shire. Slayer of the Shire is done. I didn't realize I was so close to being done. Deeds and Life of a Bounder.
What can I do for you?
We ride for Mickle Delving and for glory. Now you can afford those loot box keys to win. Exactly. Lone Lands is usually where I laugh off completing deeds. Oh, it just takes some brutal grinding. Ooh, a supple polished mandible. Don't tell anybody I did that. I figure if I never quest in a region, I'll never see any deeds pop up to have to do. The numbers start getting a bit high and the mobs start getting a bit thin on the ground for some things. Becomes a pain in the tuchus. Every region has a deed that's not fun. Oh, this is new. This is Yondershire? I still haven't done any questing in the Yondershire. You just go right out the back of Little Delving. Perfect. Look at me, I'm learning. Okay. Widow Boffin has the pie, but I don't have that quest started yet. Paths of Valor. So that's where you can change the landscape difficulty. You're looking for your difficulty Paths of Valor NPC. Now, where's the freaking postman? Not there. I was going to start restoring the quick post and I don't see the postman. Oh, I rode past him because I'm an idiot. I'm not a smart man. Antler, you're late to the party. Do my eyes deceive me, or are we getting some Mad Maggie action for Labor Day? We are indeed. You're not, because if you don't go to the air show, I will forbid you from watching any of the streams. Elf Goodcliff.
Might I have a word with you?
Talk to Emerald Borings. Where's Emerald Borings at? Michael Delving Crafting Fair. Bundle for Michael
Might I
Delving.
speak with you a moment?
Okay. That's a hungry hobbit, that's okay. If he were nosy, I would have to stealth and attack him. Well, you know, we were up around level 140 for a long time, and I didn't get to little delving very often. There's not a lot of cause to go to little delving at level 140, Zinger.
Might I speak with you a moment? Gracious me, I need your help.
Oh, well, I may as well keep going on the quick post.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Bundle for Waymeat. We ride for Maywheat. Maywheat? Waymeat. And for glory. Yeah, at this point I'm running mostly on caffeine. I should start hallucinating soon. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, I had the worst nightmare. I dreamt somebody actually donated more money and that I had to play Apex as Mad Maggie. Thank God that wasn't really... Oh my God, it happened! The Questing Dad says, I'm off to bed. Thank you for the shout out. Very much appreciated. Have a good stream and epic adventures, Big Ed. The Questing Dad, have a great weekend. And like I said, I'm going to shout you out again. If you're not already following The Questing Dad, pop over, throw him a follow right now, and make sure to check out his stream. Let's show him some love. Bringer of Nightmares, exactly. I thought we were friends, Mr. Kristoff. I used to like you. Epic Games TV says, so is the River Hobbit free, or do you have to unlock via the store when packs come out? We'll have to see. I don't know for sure. Mr. Kristoff says, it's okay. I used to like me too. Antler says, sorry I've been on vacation this week. Sorry. That's okay. People have been busy.
Stay a moment.
We were trying to get set up for Lotra or for World of Warship Sunday night, and Mrs. M needed my help, and I had to cancel the stream, and Gore and Freelancer have been busy with stuff, and where the hell am I going? Hobbiton? Oh, that's a nosy hobbit. Got to avoid the nosy hobbit. Where's that needle hole? Needle hole. We ride for needle hole. And for glory. So it helps to actually read the quest. Excuse me. After how many times doing these do you still need to read them? Just kidding. I'm not a smart man. Egarther says River Hobbits will be purchasable. Not clear if that's LP or real money or both or either. Typically, new classes or races are 1,000 Lotro points in the store. I think they've been pretty good about making them available right away, though. I don't think it's like expansions where you have to wait a few months before they get added for Lotro points. Aurora says, bless you and bless you again. Thank you, Aurora. We were talking about horrible Slayer deeds. Slug Slayer in the Shire is not fun. That one takes a fair bit of grinding. Wolves in the Trollshaws, Bog Lurkers in the Lone Lands. I don't know there's any that in Breeland that are particularly bad, and Arid Luin is fairly easy. Slug Slayer is fairly quick, 2 circuits around the swamp. Which class besides the Mariner for the River Hobbits?
Hello there. Might I speak with you a moment? I hope it's not a bother, but may I speak with you?
We ride for Daffodil. And for glory. Irish Chubb has a spoiled pie. Griffo Boffin.
Hello there.
Collect the money bag. We get to slaughter Dour Hands. It's a happy thing.
A lovely day, isn't it?
And he doesn't have a quest yet for me. Race change token will also most likely be in the package. Yeah, sickle flies are easy. You just go to the Yale height and grind them. Slugs, you have to cover a lot of ground. I find it tedious, and there's a lot of nuisance spawns surrounding the slugs. And the slugs themselves dropping the slow goo. That's not fun. Oh, Daffodil, come here, girl. I don't think it's a given that river hobbits will be allowed to be mariners. Trolls Knoll. Yeah, speaking of nuisance spawns, I have collected the cowbell. Bring the cowbell to Will Ferrell. They're on a fast spawn, Bacchus. I think you're just being whiny. Found if I only killed slugs, then only sick flies were left. Yeah, you have to kill those fly swarms too. Otherwise, that's all that'll be out in the swamp. You need to kill them all so that a percentage that come back on the respawn will be slugs. Bacchus says, trust me, I've done Slayer deeds through the Shire a lot.
Hello there. Might I speak with you a moment?
Oh, whoa, it's me. I'm sure it's a bother, but I could use your help.
How do you do? Could I take a moment of your time?
Talk to Ulfar. So, yeah, completing Life of a Bounder final, you have to do a lot of quests out in the Shire. That is not an easy meta. It's one of the reasons why I almost always do Restoring the Quick Post and No Place for Spoiled Pies, even though they're both pretty tedious. They count as a lot of quest completions if you do both of those chains. So what is it, like 75 quests for Life of a Bounder? Final? It's a lot of quests. Okay, hit Kindred with the Aglain, and I'm level 36 now, so I can get that port to Tinadur if we need it. Is it 90, Aurora? You might be right. I know it's a bunch. That's a lot of quests to complete. Egarther will know. How many total quests are required to complete Life of a Bounder final in the Shire? I mean, I could just pause and look it up myself, but when you got Egarther in chat, why bother? I think it's in the 70s. Yeah, that 75 was about right, but that's a ton of quests. I guess I should murder some dwarves while I'm out here. Die, dwarf scum. No point in burgling or backstabbing. These guys are gray. 75 for final. Well, there you go. You are crazy over level for the zone by the time you finish that. Yes. Come on, who's got the orders? Half that is post deliveries and pie pickups. Yeah, if you start those right away. And I kind of get what they were doing with them. The whole idea of those quests is to get you familiar with the travel routes in the Shire, but it's a bit overkill. They're not that thorough with any of the other regions. still haven't collected the orders. Maybe the orders are sitting in my bag. They are. I'm an idiot. Why can't I find them? Because you're not paying attention, Ed. Okay. Like, why haven't they popped up yet? Don't be like me, boys and girls. Pay attention. Save yourself a lot of aggravation. Okay, I'm going to have to assume Mr. Kristoff was not paying attention earlier. This is very important. Do not contribute any more donations to that link. Do not provide any more funding for Make-A-Wish of Nebraska or the Omahawks RC Air Show that benefits Make-A-Wish of Nebraska. We don't want to have to set Mrs. Mustafa up to stream. You don't want to listen to her make fun of me on camera. It would be bad, and you guys don't need to contribute any more money. So just stop it. Mr. Kristoff says, I won't do it, I won't. Thank you, Mr. Kristoff. You take the rest of the night off for donations.
Greetings.
Duh. If my choice is between a hammer and pork sausage, I'll take the pork sausage every time.
The stone troll of Rushock Bog. A terrible legend stalks the fens, enraged by the dwarves who seek to capture it. Our quest will not be easy.
It will be easy, so hurry the hell up. Let's get to going. I know, Alfar, you're wounded and can't quite continue, so I need to go on without you. Alfar should have been a ranger. Clearly he doesn't know that you've already cleared out an entire swamp of trolls. Much tougher trolls than this one, in fact. Forbin kid, thank you for the donation. Now knock it off. Quit sending money. I don't want to have to put Mrs. Mustafa on camera and have her tell you horrible things about me. Plus, if she's playing and streaming, I don't get to play and stream. And if you guys keep it up, I'm going to have to play Overwatch 2, and I don't want to do that either. You guys are cruel. It's bad enough I have to sail the Omaha and unlock Mad Maggie. Yeah, leaving her locked has been a source of pride for me. Ten. Yeah, I think Forbin Kid said something about how he keeps leveling out the numbers to appeal to his OCD or something. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume Epic Games TV that you're probably streaming as well. Maybe not right now. There you go, last seen playing Minecraft. Shout out to Epic Games TV. If you're not already following Epic Games TV, pop over, throw them a follow, say hello, and I think I'll actually take my own advice. I don't know I've got you followed yet. I corrected that, and hopefully several other people will as well. Appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, Epic Games TV. Hope your playing and streaming week has been a fun one. Might translate in binary to Carly Ray or something.
I am at your service.
Okay.
Let us away.
I didn't think we'd get to $1,000, so as long as we're pushing the envelope, Zinger, if we get to $2,500 before the 2nd of September, I will find a karaoke version of Call Me Maybe, and I will sing the song on stream. It's for the kids. I'll do it for charity.
Well met.
Zinger almost got demodded for playing that video one time. We'll take the two-handed axe. It's probably the best fender bait. You guys know how much I hate that song? I'll do it for the kids. I hate Mad Maggie. I was starting to grow favorably towards the Omaha, now that I'm better at World of Warships. I know it's a glass cannon of a ship, but I'm better able to protect it, but it's still not easy. I think I'm done with all the other side quests here, except for the one that vectors me out to
Might I trouble
Yondershire.
you for some help?
So, this bundle is also for Mickle Delving? That seems odd. So, Little Delving and Needlehole both go back to Mickle Delving? Sir Waffles knows my hatred of Carly Ray. Please, no shoutouts. I don't really Twitch it. Oh, okay. What did you say that was? 5 hours of the USS Omaha? That is correct. 10 hours of Mad Maggie. If we get to $1,500 and Mrs. M has to play or stream, that's an indeterminate amount. I can't really make her do anything for any particular length of time, especially since she tires so easily. But I would at least expect her to do an hour online. "10 hours of Mad Maggie." Wow, Ed, I'm impressed. It may not be all in one sitting. I might have to break that up into a couple of streams, but it's not that unusual for me to sit down and play Apex for 5 hours at a time. I could see doing it over a couple of streams. Or just spending a Saturday grinding Mad Maggie. If you like Minecraft, I have a channel for you, which we'll leave that alone because we're here for Lotro. We are here for Lotro, but you're here supporting Lotro's stream and hanging out with us, and I'm happy to support you. Break into a few streams and replace monitors and keyboards in between. Yes. I do mostly YouTube, and I come here to relax and enjoy. Well, cool. So we can find you at Epic Games TV on YouTube. We just like to share the love. Just toss the at in front. Yes, okay, at Epic Games TV. With a Z for games. Head on over to YouTube, like, subscribe, smash that like button. I keep threatening to do more work on my YouTube channels, but I just never seem to get around to it. It's a lot of work editing those videos, and I'm not that great at it. Between work and Mrs. Mustafa, leisure time is at a premium right now. Bringing her home from the skilled nursing facility has been a lot of work, but totally worth it. I'm very glad to have her home. She's very glad to be home. She hated the nursing facility. Not the least of which reason is it's hard to get good Asian food in Elkhorn, Nebraska. Although the Chinese restaurant in town is pretty solid. I'll give them credit for that. Two-handed club.
Good day. Might I have a word with you?
Hiders and seekers. Sorry, Daisy, you're busted, hun. Penny wants me to go talk to Dora Brownlock. We can do that. And I think Ruby wants me to go close Shrewburrows. We can do that.
day. Might I have a word with you?
Where's my other hider? Thought he was right around here somewhere. Is he up here? There's Polo.
Hello there.
Mr. K says, well, boys and girls, that's it for me. My work here is done. Good night, all. You have a great night, Mr. Christoph. And, yeah, I hope you're proud of what you did. Epic Games TV says, we live in an area that is majority Asian, so we get the Asian cuisine for days. Nice.
A lovely day, isn't it? Hello there. Might I speak with you a moment?
I'm fairly lucky that, boy, for a Midwestern city, Omaha's very diverse restaurant-wise. I mentioned having Cajun Creole for lunch, and I went and had lunch at an Afghani restaurant last week, and now the wife and some of our friends are all stoked to go try it too.
Hello there.
But the one thing we don't have in Omaha is a Filipino restaurant. I had to learn to cook adobo myself.
Good day.
We were going to go to the Caribbean Delight restaurant, the Jamaican restaurant, but they're closed on Sundays. Dora Brownlock and closing shrew burrows. Oh, Epic Games says, I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia. We have these pocket communities as for Filipino. That's what my girlfriend is for. Dornell says, were I closer, I'd happily cook Filipino foods to bring over to you, Big Ed. That would be terrific fun. Mrs. Mustafa and I would come by with store-bought dessert and hang out and eat Filipino food with y'all. Mrs. Mustafa is Korean, and we eat a fair amount of Asian food. We've got good Vietnamese, Korean, Thai. Like I said earlier, the seafood in Omaha can be surprisingly good, and we've got several good sushi restaurants. Be skeptical if you must. But it's true. If you need some recipes, we got you covered. Well, I'm having fun cooking the adobo because it's flexible. You can do it with a variety of proteins. And it's actually fairly simple. I mean, it's not hard to do. I've got the right ingredients in the pantry, and I've got the right cookware for it. I'm kind of wondering what the next thing is I should try. I don't know. After you get chicken and pork adobo down, what else do you guys think I should try cooking? Lumpia? Pancit? Yeah, lumpia is a lot of work. Plus, if I make lumpia, I'll have to make 200 of them, and I still won't get to eat any. Mrs. Mustafa would just eat all 200 lumpia. Make lumpia and puto. Pancit too. Okay. Well, we had one of the club members is Filipino at the airfield, and his wife used to make lumpia. Her and her daughter would just knock out 300 lumpia at home and then sell them and donate. Sold them for $1 a piece and then donated the $300 to the Make-A-Wish Fund, which was extremely kind and generous of them. I mean, it's a lot of work. Rolling up and frying 300 lumpia, and yeah, here's the money. Okay, awesome. And sadly, Gracie got cancer and passed away a few years ago. And we have folks asking us, "Oh, where's the lumpia? Where are the Filipino egg rolls?" And it's like, "Oh, we're sorry. The lady who made those isn't with us anymore," which isn't a fun tale to tell. Puto a century egg or cheese. Puto's like a sweet rice cake. Super yummy cold or warm. I do both cheese and plain. I recommend pork sinigang as well. Okay, anything with pork appeals to me. Mrs. Mustafa's not big on pork, which is okay, more for me, but
Wait, the goal of some folk?
burros are done. Let's go pick up the postmaster's next quest, and then we'll go talk to Dora Brownlock. I think I got to go to Waymeet next anyway. No, I did Waymeet already. Where the hell else is he going to send me? Let's go find out. You can do fish or chicken versions as well, but I prefer and was taught pork sinigang mostly. So yeah, fish recipes are something I could use. Mrs. Mustafa loves fish. Although she did not eat all of her mackerel cakes tonight. I gave her quite a bit of food, though. I wasn't really expecting her to finish it all. Excuse me. I think I'd better go grab a Coke Zero. In fact, I'm definitely going to grab a Coke Zero because I hit the bottom of my second Venom. And we'll keep the good times rolling. I'll be right back. Chairstream hype. Fish sinigang is a soup. I love fish soup. we're back. Maybe Ed should try Balut instead of a Coke Zero. I know better than to try Balut, but thanks. And I have a crisp, cold, delicious, refreshing Coke Zero. Now, I wasn't sure I was going to grab a snack tonight, but when I opened the fridge to grab a soda, I've got red seedless grapes that looked yummy, and Mrs. Mustafa wanted a Band-Aid because she scraped her knuckle, so I stopped off at Five Below to get Band-Aids, and they had some Goya Dulce de Leche wafer cookies, so I grabbed some of those too.
Might I speak with you a moment?
Okay, now where the heck am I going? Tuckaborough, avoid nosy hobbits. Okay, well if you want to avoid nosy hobbits, you go out of town this way. We jog for Tuckaborough and for glory. Grapes are good, and when they're cold and it's hot out, they're very refreshing. And for those of you not familiar with dulce de leche, it's a kind of creamy caramel sauce that's made simply by taking sweetened condensed milk and simmering it over very low heat for a long time until it reduces down into this beautiful mocha brown creamy caramel goodness. It's delicious. And the cookies were only $1.25 a pack at Five Below. Freeze them and use them as ice cubes in some 7-Up, then eat them. Well, that sounds good. I don't know I ever have frozen grapes before. I've heard of such a thing. Ooh, there we go. Bundle for Tuckborough completed. Completed Life of a Bounder. New Deed, Life of a Bounder Advanced. I feel like I was going somewhere else too. Let's go back and talk to Dora Brownlock before I pick up the Tuckborough quests. Yeah, they're up there along with frozen bananas.
My thoughts were elsewhere. Could I take a moment of your time?
We ride for Dora's chickens and for glory. Not sure I sound Rohirric enough when I say that. Try to get a little chestier with it. We ride for Dora's chickens and for glory. Hopefully that was better. Three of three on the chickens. Defeat wolves at the wolf den. We tend to take the bananas before they spoil and wrap them like a spring roll and fry them. A little sugar. Wow, yummy. Well, that sounds good. Herky Man checking in. Hi, Herky. How are you? Playing The Walking Dead, the final season. Herky's a fellow Lotro streamer and a pretty good guy, so if you're not following Herky Mad, fix that mistake. Show Herky some love, but please, no sniffing. Oh, Bacchus. Bacchus went ahead and sniffed. Herky's been around. He's been posting stuff in Discord. In fact, I meant to take pictures of my lunch today and post it in Discord, but I left my phone in the car. That way Mrs. Mustafa couldn't call me while I was eating lunch and be like, "What are you eating? Would you bring me Cajun Creole food home?" And she'd be like, "Ugh, gross," because it tasted too good. I'm good. Oh, and thanks very much. You are always welcome, Herky. When we were playing on Evernight, Herky was kind enough to join us occasionally to help us through some larger group content. Always appreciate that.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Imagine how good these dulce de leche wafer cookies would be if I was actually dipping them in dulce de leche. That would be the bomb diggy. Baka says, be right back in a few. Need to get some breakfast.
What do you need?
Chili peanut beef stir fry sounds appealing right now. That does sound good. I was watching an episode of Milk Street with Christopher Kimball, and they were doing shrimp recipes from Mexico. They were making an oil-based salsa that involved toasting a number of nuts in oil with chilies, and it just sounded really good. I don't think they ever gave the exact recipe. It's like, here's a bunch of really cool stuff we're going to put in oil and we're going to simmer it really gently. Then it's going to be delicious on the shrimp and on fish, and it's just like, okay, where's the recipe? They never gave the recipe of exactly what they put in the pan. It's like, okay.
I'm sorry, my thoughts were elsewhere.
74, 99, 114 for the win. Alright, whey meat is done. Now we can go to Tuckborough. I'm supposed to talk to Emerald Boggins? She's back this way. We'll go find her. Did I make a wrong turn? I did. What a coinky dink. I got vectored to the crafting area and I haven't done crafting yet tonight. It's like a sign or something. Who am I supposed to be talking to here? Crafting trophy trader.
What do you need?
Oh, so this is where you can trade stuff from the treasure hunt for crafting material? I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Oh, here she is.
Good day.
Completed. Mickle Delvin Craft Fair. I'm looking forward to any upcoming crafting improvements they make. I enjoy crafting in game, and I'm usually not very happy when I feel like it's been outdated. Platinum, dwarf iron. Oh man, now repairs are going to cost more money. Leveling is the worst. I think it's a relic from a former system. Okay. Well, I come to this crafting instance all the time, and I don't recall seeing that NPC like ever before. So that concerns me. Or maybe I am starting to hallucinate and the NPC is not really there. Which could also be a thing. I have more grapes and more cookies in the kitchen, but I think I've had enough for tonight. We'll work on our crisp, delicious, and refreshing Coke Zero. Not yet a sponsor. Oh, if you're out there and you have a little bit of leftover Chinese takeout in the fridge, you're not sure what to do with it, one of the things I like to do is actually just throw it in as an omelet filler. Got some leftover broccoli beef or kung pao chicken or almond chicken or something. Just mix up 3 eggs, drop it in your omelet pan, then throw the Chinese leftovers on top of the eggs and call it breakfast. It's a good way to reheat it and makes it even tastier. I do that too. So yummy. Exactly, Adornil knows. Brown Lock's Battle Gauntlets. It's one thing all Lotro fans have in common. We all love to talk about food, it seems. Food is good. Ferro iron, marbles, and caltrops. All right. I was going to craft some more weapons, but I think I need more bag space.
Just a moment.
Let's sell off some of this junk we have. Alright, what else did I have to sell? One of the things I like to do is, if I'm just picking quest rewards as vendor trash, is pick something that my class can't use, so it'll be highlighted in red and easier to spot. Crafting, fishing, task item turn-ins, eating on camera, and inventory management. It's a complete stream. We've completed the 5 minutes of quality Lotro streaming. I feel pretty good about that. And if there's a 6th unofficial one, it's launching fireworks for the fun of it. But I think I put all my fireworks away in my storage, so not a true stream if you don't do all of those things. All right. We ride for Tuckborough and for glory. Oh, the Oak Barton quests. Those are fairly pleasant. Some nights it's just nice to do stuff like this. Questing in the Shire, doing the Oak Barton quests. You slaughter enough orcs and goblins, and it's nice to do some stuff that's a little more chill. Some nights you do this to offset the nights you do delvings and tear your hair out. Exactly. That's why I keep my hair cut short, Zinger, so I can't grab it very easily. Ah, delvings, ah! Delvings suck. Then the best part about it, I was talking about doing delvings last week, and the 3 delvings that I did complete on Tier 7, I got crafting materials all 3 times. And the character, Mandalinia, is a jeweler, and you can't get jeweler's ore. You can only get ferrite metals. It's like, really? I can't get platinum or ancient silver or Khazad gold. I guess I could get Khazad skarn and just refine it to Khazad gold. It's just annoying that you can't get, because like platinum's something that's always in short supply. It's like it just sucks. Alright everybody, I'm going to call it a stream here. I'm starting to turn into a pumpkin even with all the caffeine I've had. I had a good time tonight. It was fun completing the Lone Land stuff, getting all those deeds knocked out. I'm surprised I'm as far along in the Shire as I am, but on Wednesday the gang will probably be running the Everswim instances, and I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a shout out. If you aren't following me or you haven't been by the channel, feel free to come by and say hi. Not sure what I'll be doing tomorrow night. We'll make something up. Sunday night is World of Warships. Tuesday is Random Game Night. Wednesday is Adventures on Gladden. And yeah, we've always got something going on. Come by and say hi. And remember, no matter what you do not donate any additional money to that link. We need to cut it off. We don't want to be making me do any more horrible stuff. I already have to stream as Mad Maggie. I already have to sail the USS Omaha. We don't want to be turning my channel over to Mrs. Mustafa. We don't need her telling horrible stories about me. We don't need her making fun of me on my own Twitch channel. So do not donate any more cash, especially not to that link. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and if you get a chance, come by my channel and say hi. We'll see you all then. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We're going to go raid one of our friends. Larry N is streaming Lotro. Xmatic 3 is streaming Lotro. Druid's Fire streaming Dungeons and Dragons. You could pop by and say hi to her. I can't host her because she's not streaming Lotro. Let me see. I raid Lariana a lot, which is why I'm hesitant to do it again. Let me see who else is streaming Lotro. $2 Bill is streaming Lotro. Zygmaster is streaming Lotro. That's a Russian streamer, it looks like. I'm guessing from the Krillic characters. His chat description: Loader with friends. Shattered Yo-Yo. I'm kind of inclined to rate a smaller streamer tonight, but I don't know. 420 Jaybird 69 sounds like they might be a little low on maturity level, just based on their gamer tag. Yeah, let's go say hi to $2 Bill. I am not familiar, so if any language pops up that offends you, you're welcome. Hopefully I spelled that right. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. Let's go throw some love towards $2 Bill, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
That was like their main event for showing Echoes, and I wasn't a big fan of watching him play. But I wanted to watch Echoes. The official Lord of the Rings online stream just rated me with 33 viewers. What the fuck? Welcome to the channel, dude.
Like spend more money?
No, Lotro stream is like the official Lotro stream, I think.
Did I spend money?
Yeah, you should, absolutely. Thanks for the fucking follow. Let's fucking go, dude. We're going. We didn't get an Echo stream, but you know what? We got a fucking another stream. We got Buff Stick right here. I'm gonna fucking hit him.
Really? I want to spend money.
Well, you know what? You want to spend money? Hell yeah. Thanks for streaming Lotro. You know what? Thanks for watching me stream Lotro. That's all I gotta say. Let's fucking go. I'm legit. All I'm doing right now is complaining. I should probably watch.
And, oh, here we go. 5 pounds.
Holy shit. Dude, we're gonna kill Henry's butt. Oh no, it's not Henry's butt. Here comes the butt. Here comes the butt. Here comes the butt. Just got fucking wrecked. We're fucking in it. We're in it right now. We got some dead bodies. That's fine.